saying on the other songs.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Effizode 497. It's Friday, April 19th, 2013, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer, plus News Random, where we hear of a new TV show that's coming back, even though it's made in another country, but it's about this country.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And as I look at all of today's news, it has a tendency to overrun me.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But I found this interesting, that Superstorm Sandy actually shook the planet Earth when it struck the United States on April 30th of October of last year. It didn't just devastate the eastern seaboard, it shook the ground as far away as the west coast, producing tiny vibrations in the Earth's crust that seismometers could feel the most. Something similar to this happened during Katrina.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And there's also been a recent employment surge in Silicon Valley and the East Bay Area.
Mike's
And it seems that
Daily
the Bay Area is
Podcast.
the primary propellant
Yeah!
for the job growth that's occurred in California over the past 12 months. Interesting. Oh, look who just walked in.
Hello, my Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. And like, I heard you got a job.
That's true. I did. I got a job, part-time job, weekend thing, working at a local radio station that's only about, 15 minutes away from me in the town of Pleasanton.
Isn't that a great movie with Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon?
That's Pleasantville. Don Knotts is in that too.
Oh, yeah.
They're all black and white, and then things turn color, and it becomes a catastrophe.
I don't remember the movie at all.
Me neither. Look who else just walked in. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the engineer. Isn't it amazing that we can feel the waves of a storm that's all the way across the country? It sure is. And what's even more amazing is I can feel the waves of your breath from 4 feet away. I'm actually 3 feet. Oh, thanks for correcting me. Dang it. Mike, it's good to be close to people because then you're able to show them warmth. Really? Why? Because I'm Floyd the Floorman. Oh. Hey, Floyd, that big old mustache you have kind of reminds me of Arlo Guthrie, who I saw last night. You did? You saw Arlo Guthrie? Good morning, America. How are you? Yes, he sang that song, even told the story about how Stephen Goodman gave him the song to sing. And that's interesting because Stephen Goodman does train songs. And in fact, David Allan Coe talks about Stephen Goodman in his song, You Never Even Call Me By My Name, and about train songs and meeting your mom at the penitentiary. But I digress.
Mike Matthews, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, it was a great show. Kathy Spaeth, host of Kathy's Corner here on Mike's Daily Podcast, was able to get us tickets front row, in the front row. It was fantabulous. And a big thank you out to her husband's mom. I think that's how it goes. For getting us the tickets. That was awesome.
Mike Matthews, what does Arlo Guthrie sing?
Good morning, America. How are you?
I have, no idea.
He also sang, I don't want a pickle, I just want to ride my motorcycle.
Okay, that's, disgusting.
Well, it's a funny song, and he told the story about how he wrote that. How he said inspiration was coming upon him to write a song. He says it's a big moment when you are inspired to write a song, and he felt the inspiration coming, and then all of a sudden he wrote down the lines, I don't want a pickle.
Yeah, and then what happened? Has he ever been on Dancing with the Stars?
No. Why do I even talk to you guys? We don't know, Mike! We just want to go ride our motorcycles. Okay. Feel free. Feel wild. Born to be wild. He didn't write that one. But you can tell me what you think of this whole being able to seismically feel the impending huge storms from across the country. Isn't that scientifically amazing? Or does that completely bore you? And what else do you think about this huge, wonderful surge of jobs? It's helping the economy. That's a good news item here in California, which can use some good economic news. email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. You can also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show. At this moment, there has been news that they have cornered the guy, the last brother, who was involved in the horrific bombing of the... he's been put in custody, and he's alive. His brother, however, was killed earlier in the day. And you probably know this whole story backwards and forwards. It's been on the internet and the whole timeline and all that. And the white hat, the backwards white baseball cap. Whoever still wears a baseball cap backwards, come on. That went out of style when Fresh Prince of Bel-Air went off the air. So it's not that that has anything to do with anything, but that is weird to see that image of the guy with the backward baseball cap. And this whole story, just incredibly strange. And Russia, the ruler of Chechnya, is saying that, oh, well, this makes perfect sense that this would happen in America. They were raised in America. They may be Chechnyan, but they are really American and acting like Americans. But that's one small piece of this huge story that has been unfolding on the internet and has been a big part of all of our lives over the past couple of days. It'll be good to see it come to some sort of conclusion. But anyway, that was my big segue. Anyway, check out our website, mikesdailypodcast.com. You can read the blog. You can see the podcast picture. Oh, there's a link to where to listen to us in iTunes. And if you listen to this show in iTunes, please subscribe to us there and rate the show and comment on the show so more people find out about us. Also, check out links to where to find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Yelp. And, you can also check out the Amazon deal of the day. And if you click on that and buy something through it, why, we actually get a little coinage, a tiny little bit of coinage for it. So click on the Amazon deal of the day and then bookmark that. And whenever you shop at Amazon, just go through that bookmark, and we actually get a little something for that at mikesdailypodcast.com.
News Random.
So if you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that I'm a huge fan of a couple shows that I've seen on BBC, the British Broadcasting Company. And there is this one show that I've watched. It's actually, it's not as good as it used to be, but Doctor Who I've watched. Actually, I'm kind of getting caught up now. But the reboot of the show, it's actually been around since 1963, that's right. They're going to have their 50th anniversary this year. And then it was off the air in 89 for a while, came back in full force in 2005. Actually, there was one little TV movie in the interim featuring Julia Roberts' brother Eric Roberts, not as Doctor Who, but as the villain, the Master. And then it came back in full force in 2005, and it's been on the air since on the BBC, and I've watched that. But this isn't about that show. It's about a new show that BBC America actually debuted in August, and it looks like it is coming back. BBC America's first original scripted series, well, it has to do with America. Civil War-era Manhattan, called Copper is the name of the show, produced by Tom Fontana and Barry Levinson. The guy who does the TV show Homicide. So, the 10-episode first season takes place in 1864, stars Tom Weston Jones as Kevin Corcoran, an English immigrant detective and a war veteran in New York's sketchy Five Points neighborhood. And his daughter's been killed and his wife is missing. As he battles crime and solves the mystery of what became of his family, he relies on connections to two fellow veterans from the Union Army. One's an African-American doctor from the emerging northern Manhattan area, and the other is the son of a wealthy industrialist on the already fashionable East Side. All share a secret from their war days. Also anchoring the show are a couple women from a bordello. Okay. The scale of it is what kind of daunted me at first, says Weston Jones, who plays Kevin Corcoran, the Irish immigrant detective. He is actually a Welsh Briton actor raised in Dubai and playing an Irish immigrant in the 19th century America. He says it can be a little bit scary to go into something when you're a little bit of an outsider. I found it nothing but a challenge. and I like challenges. The subject also appeals to the producer Tom Fontana, because he's a longtime New Yorker. And he says because of its parallels to where we are now, racism, the whole question of immigration, in this case, the Irish and Germans instead of Latinos and Asians, and I guess now Chechens. So the show is coming back. And I have to admit, of course, I have not seen it, but it will be coming back June 23rd on BBC America. And apparently the group Iron and Wine has done some music for it. They did a cover of an 1854 song for the TV show. And you can hear a stream of the track on rollingstone.com. So what does this mean? BBC America going to be making more shows now that they've created an original scripted series that apparently is doing so well that it'll be coming back in the summer? Maybe they could make some shows featuring the Spice Girls. I know you miss them as much as I do. As we go outside the last place on earth where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley, California.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I finally got off my duff and downloaded all the pictures I took from Portland, the Portland trip that I told you all about yesterday. And there's my first picture from the trip of the many bridges that you can see. I was actually taking public transportation, as I mentioned yesterday, and as I was riding the train over one of the bridges into downtown Portland, I could see two other bridges. So there you go. It's bridges galore, and it's right there on the Williamette. I heard one person said the Meat River, or the Meaty. Anyway, there is that river you can see in the picture. Some condos right down there by the river. They got a little docks for their boats, but nobody has any boats, which I found odd. But hey, so that was Portland. What a great time I had. Met a really nice girl that told me the name of the river. Sadly, I can't remember the name of the river or the name of the girl. It was at an ice cream place that make their own ice cream they make their own ice cream in this place in Mississippi. There's a town called Mississippi near Portland, where I had ice cream with the lead singer of the band Ages and Ages, who have been on the show. In fact, you can listen to the interview with Tim Perry, the lead singer of the group Ages and Ages. The interview on the Mike's Daily Podcast website. Just click on where it says interviews at the top of the page, and you'll find our interview. And he was really nice. I talked to him for quite a while, for about an hour, and he showed me a little bit of Mississippi. And at this ice cream place, I partook of some fantastic homemade ice cream and met a really nice girl whom I gave a flyer to about Mike's Daily Podcast, which I think after I left, she threw out. And I'm invoking the spirit of Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get any respect.
Mike Matthew, homemade ice cream is still bad for you.
I know. Eaten in large quantities, it can also make you fat. I don't trust anybody that works at an ice cream store, Mike. Why? Because their hands have been in ice cream. That's disgusting. I'm Floyd the Floorman. All right. And you mop the floor, and your hand is sometimes in the mop water. So cleansing. Uh-huh. Mike, you should go to more places so that you can tell us all about them and then get the names wrong. Excellent idea. Tomorrow we'll bring you the segment Master Pod Theater, plus we'll hear from Benita, the rodeo queen, the disgruntled fiddle player, and the brewmaster. Isn't it amazing that we can feel the waves of a storm that's all the way across the country? 2 words. Tic-tac.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!